Welcome back to the Always Sunny podcast. We're here in studio.
We're back.
Once again, which I'm very excited about.
Me too. Rob, you wanted to talk about my jump.
From the previous episode. The jump was very impressive.
Thank you.
I want to go on record to remind you that you did not believe in yourself. I believed in you.
I sure didn't. And I do want to say that the difference between my jump 12 years ago and however long ago we shot that episode and my jump with this last episode
15.
was 15 years. When I jumped in the air and did like the fist punch, like my hand, I don't know, like no circulation went into my hand or something. And it hurt my hand to just jump and just punch the sky.
Just now?
This most recent.
I mean, when you did it in the last episode?
Yeah.
So there was pain associated with this jump.
Yeah.
Well,
there's more creaks and
are you going to lose the hand? Are you going to lose the hand? You think that's it?
At some point, I might lose the hand. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
well, it looked great. It looked great.
Yeah.
Glenn, great to see you again.
Speaking of looking great, Glenn, man, your skin is glowing.
And I want to personally thank you for supporting our football team over there in Wrexham, Wales.
You got the Wrexham hat on, which
you like the hat? How you feeling about the hat? It's looking pretty good on me.
It looks great. Again, the flat bill is a new thing for me. I'd say the last year and a half I've been doing the flat bill, and I've just embraced it fully. And I think you look great in it.
Well, I'm feeling good, and I'm happy to represent your football team,
Thank you.
Rob.
You look very natural. I see you wear the same shirt, but the change of hat was a great call.
Oh, God. Did I wear this same shirt last time?
You wore that same shirt last time.
Oh, God. I did, didn't I?
Well, but by the way, buddy, don't beat yourself up about it. You look great in it.
I appreciate that. I've been getting some sun. I feel like I've got a nice little tan going.
That's clear.
And your face doesn't move, which is always a good thing.
Which is what you want.
Always a good
That's what you want.
Yeah.
As you get older, you want your face not to move, because the more it moves, the more it's going to start to show its age.
I fucking hate that. Everyone's face is always moving.
Yeah.
Stop moving your fucking faces.
Enough with the facial movements.
Yeah.
Stop
Well, the good news is, Glenn, we know that you've come with your mouth open and ready to receive. And we've brought a special gentleman with us today. It's not neither one of us, but we have brought a gentleman who's going to stick his penis into your mouth. Can we bring him in? He left. He didn't. He backed out at the last minute.
Glenn, we're just going to move this mic a little closer to your mouth here because you were a little off mic. Let's try talking now, Glenn.
Yeah, testing.
Let me
testing.
see.
Oh, that sounds much better. That sounds much better.
Is that better?
Is if we get too close, try that. That work?
Oh, ooh.
That's too close. Back it off, Rob. Rob's just going to reach into your mouth and make sure there's nothing in there. Well, just make sure that, and there's nothing blocking your... There we go.
Oh, God.
So stupid. It's so funny.
There we go. Simple and funny.
Oh, you got a little something in your nose. Let me just get that.
No, yeah.
Do his nose holes go up?
No, but there was just a little something in there. A little something.
Glenn, can I ask you something personal?
Please.
Do you have a penis?
Next question.
Is it assault if we were to look?
Yeah.
I don't know that it wasn't built. I don't know that it wasn't built in. I mean...
I think when he had his full body replacement, he did not have a penis built in. We could get you one if you're going to feel a little bit better.
Full body replacement.
I wonder if that's something we could show on the
internet?
On the various...
On the internet? Yeah.
The answer is probably yes.
I think so.
Fair
I think we can get away with it on the internet.
Now, we're here to talk about the final episode of Season 3.
Guys, it was the end of our third season, and this was, I believe, shot as the final episode. I think it was always our intention that this was the last episode of the season. Is that correct? Or did we write that somewhere in the middle and then decided?
I seem to remember that the gang gets whacked was amongst the last, if not the last, batch of episodes. I just remember being in a state of a hurry. Hurry. How do you pronounce the word? H-U-R-R-Y.
Hurry.
A hurried state.
A hurried state.
Towards the end of that, we were doing 15 episodes a season, which was that was hard for us. And I believe it was the whacked episodes that we did last. But
yeah,
anyway, right. It was amongst the last, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. They were technically sort of challenging episodes to shoot, but Matt Shackman, was that his first episode he did with us? No. Maybe?
No. He directed. We did 5, 5, and 5. That's
that's
in
right.
season
Right, that's
3, as I
right.
recall.
So he
We
had
did,
done 5 of them.
Yeah, we did Jerry, Fred, and Matt, and they each did 5 episodes. We shot them in 5-episode blocks, as I recall.
Matt directed the hell out of that episode.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the Sklar brothers for a second.
Uh-huh.
Killed it.
So
they brought so much to it that was not even on the page.
Well, that was not written as a dual role. It was written as
No.
one DJ who was from
right.
who was from Q102, was not the Q crew. Was just from Q102, and they came in together and just started ad-libbing, and they just nailed it, and we gave them the job, and they were amazing.
They beat me out on a movie that I auditioned for. This is before Sunny, and that I was like in the mix for, playing like a young, like hip hop rapping kid. The movie was Baby Mama, Baby Mama with Eddie Griffin, I think. Does that sound right?
I believe Baby Mama. Yeah,
that's an Amy Poehler movie.
That's
I
Amy
believe.
Poehler.
Oh yeah, you're right. Let's look up their credits.
Was it a similar situation where it was one role that then got turned into two?
And they said, "Oh, it'd be funnier
in?
as twins." And then we said, "Well, let's try to make something funnier as twins."
Well, it was us watching the auditions. It was us watching the auditions and seeing them.
Yeah,
and being like, "Well, this is the funniest thing."
Well, no, I was asking if that's what happened with Charlie's movie.
I'm looking it up.
Were you? But was it played as twins or?
Yeah, I wasn't auditioning as twins.
Well, no. Let me clarify my question. Was it that one of them booked the job?
No. They did it as twins.
Well, but hold on a second. That's the way you cast babies. Is that oftentimes you'll have triplets or just in case Randy couldn't couldn't be there that day.
If one Sklar needs a nap, the other one comes in. That's
Jason
right.
can come in and mop it up.
They can't per contract. They can't work a full day without a little school or nap. So
I wish to God I had a twin brother that could come in and just, while I'm napping, just come in and.
But then you got to split the money with him.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, maybe he's like a mutant who looks like you and can still perform, but you keep him locked up in the basement and you just take all his money.
I wouldn't know what that's like to have something that just looks just like you. You know what I mean? To be there for you when you can't be there. I wouldn't know what something like that was like, but I'd like to know. I'd like to know.
Now, guys, this episode was based loosely. I mean, they're all based on conversations we have in the writers' room, but there was an old movie called "They Shoot Horses." Don't they? Don't they?
Yeah, They Shoot
I
Horses.
believe it's directed by Sidney Pollack.
I think that's right. They shoot horses, don't they?
Yeah, Sidney Pollack.
Yeah.
And it was based on something that was all the rage around in I don't know if it was the 20s or the 30s. It seems like a Depression era thing where people were just so desperate for cash that and also happiness that they would try to dance until they couldn't anymore. And then whoever was left standing would get a cash prize. The problem is that this was at desperate times and people would die. And in fact, they shoot horses, don't they? I believe the person dies.
Dances to death.
Is the idea that, maybe this is complete conjecture, is it that they shoot horses when they're in so much pain you put them out of their misery? Is that the idea? Right. So you say, oh, well, they would, if you were a horse, we would have shot you.
Yeah, like shoot me already.
I'm done.
You know what I mean?
I'm dancing until
they'd shoot a horse. You're going to make me dance to death? Shoot me.
Make me glue.
Yeah, but that's too long a title.
Make Me Glue should have been the name
Make
of the
Me
movie.
Glue is what they should have called that movie.
We were also big fans of that old documentary,
Hands on a Hard Body.
Oh.
Hands on a Hard Body.
You can't really get that. You can't find that anywhere.
That's the weirdest thing. Like
you can.
For the listener and creep at home, Hands on the Hard Body was a documentary about this contest that people would win a Ford pickup truck, and you would have to stand with your hand on the pickup truck. And you would get breaks like every hour or something like that, but the competition would go on for days, and the person who stood the longest would win the truck.
But it became once you weeded out so the physical aspects of it, it became a mental game.
Yeah,
because people would be up for days and days.
I was reminded that I played that with some friends around that time. A friend recently told me, "Hey, do you remember this was up at the Williamstown Theater Festival. We just put our hands on a rail and played hands on a hot bar to see who could stay on that rail the longest.
It's a great concept. It's a great title because it makes it sound like it's something it's not.
Sexual.
So you want to check in with it.
It sounds like an internet thing.
Yeah, and it's a very emotional story because people realize how desperate people needed that truck. I remember there was one guy in particular who said, "Truck means work. If I can have a truck, that means I can work because it opens up a whole new potential for employment opportunities."
And there was one guy who had like taken an AC unit to cool a Walmart and had put it on his trailer.
Industrial grade.
Yeah, it does. And it was working his trailer, and he said he could get his trailer to like 30 below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was also the one guy who brought nothing but Snickers bars.
Just Snickers bars.
Yeah.
But I couldn't understand. It was so deep in this was in Texas. It was so deep in the South. He was saying that all he brought were sneakers. And I was wondering, sneakers seem
Sneakers would be useful, but Snickers,
Snickers would not be useful.
Less useful.
And in fact, maybe the same guy who was doing it in cowboy boots. And there's one very fun moment where the guy says, "You can't do this thing in boots." And you look down, and he's got these good old, cowboy boots on. You got to stand for 4 straight hours.
No, you got it. You need to head over to the podiatrist and get yourself some orthopedic inserts and put them inside some really, really flexible tennis shoes.
Like a nurse's shoe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could do a version of Hands on a Hard Body here, Charlie, where we put our hands on Dennis's hard body or Glenn's hard body and see who would remove it first for the whole podcast. Because I think you would forget. I think what happens is that you just forget. So I got my hand. I'm holding Dennis's hand, and I think eventually you're going to gesture with your hand. You're going to forget, right? Otherwise, are we just going to keep our hands on Dennis's hard body the whole time?
I mean, I don't love it.
You don't love the feeling, or you don't love it as a bit in the podcast?
No, I like it as a bit. It's good. I'm debating whether I care enough to win this bet.
Fair. Yeah.
Slippery.
But I like the idea of being
slippery
of competing with you and winning at something with you. This is all coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you really want to do that, we'll be here till tomorrow, pal. I'm going to let you have it.
Oh, God. That feels so good. Oh, thank you for being a part of this, Glenn.
You're welcome.
I'm better at something than Charlie.
You got it. Well done.
I'm happy to oblige. You're allowed to use my body for whatever you want, Rob.
All right, great.
What if I tricked you and my foot was on his foot?
That's the mind games.
Yeah.
That's the Highlander.
That's the high.
Yeah. There can only be one.
Yeah.
And that's a mental game.
There can only be one. Can we talk about this episode a little bit more?
Yes, we can. I remember loving this episode, and I did really enjoy watching it. I kind of enjoyed Bums Making a Mess All Over the City like a little bit more, but I liked this one a lot.
Yeah, as did I. I agree with you. I liked Bums better, and I wonder why. I don't wonder why that is, because at the time we definitely liked this episode better. We liked this episode way more better. There's a structure to it, so it was easy to follow and it was fun.
I liked them both. I think
it's just a little bit more. It's a little bit more of a dynamic episode, Bums. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's a little bit more believable.
The dance episode, which one's more believable?
The Bums one that we're just running around with with a police car and taking it too far versus like Cricket's mechanical legs and stuff.
Well, we really did some gymnastics to raise the stakes by saying that somehow it was possible in this universe where you could put your own bar up.
I think that's part of it too.
And that the contracts were signed and sealed and delivered, and there was no getting out.
Yeah.
There was only one way to do it, and that was to have an episode.
But goddamn, there's some funny stuff in here. There's some good stuff. And dancing, just the pure entertainment of dancing is fun to watch people dancing. Your karate dancing is one of my favorite things ever. Was this the first time we saw that?
Maybe. And just like everything, we found something that made you laugh and
how
you
did
guys
you
laugh.
Come up with that? Like, What was that based on?
I don't know. I know part of the dance was based on the part of the dance that I had.
Saved by the Bell.
Was Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
Where AC Slater says something to
Well,
the
that was more the line.
Yeah, why don't you pick the best dancer? And then some of those moves
go with the best dancer.
were definitely taken.
Those moves are funny.
But the
karate stuff you're doing with the waitress when you're trying to like get her to quit.
Yes.
It's so
just
funny to me.
Throwing out. Yeah, I don't know. It was probably just made you guys laugh, and so I just kept doing it, and
the elbow dance is great.
Yeah.
So your character we hadn't established yet that your character was obsessed with thinking that he was into karate? I guess not.
No, I don't even think that happens until Nightman, where we really jump into that.
Right.
I think this was more of just a dance style.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that when I was watching the episode. I'd completely and totally forgotten that. Yeah, that's great.
Just a very aggressive dance style. And I remember Mary Elizabeth. You know, I think it was Mary Elizabeth on the day who was saying, "That's really funny. Keep doing it." Because I'm afraid that you might hit me with one of your elbows.
Oh, really?
And she's like, "This is actually legitimately terrifying and funny."
Oh yeah. Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And then Glenn's storyline with the couple is fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is this the first time we refer to Cricket as a street rat? I believe it is. I think this is where we started calling him a street rat.
Yeah, this is where we started calling him Street Rat.
I'm pretty sure. And which was, of course, inspired by the Disney cartoon Aladdin.
Oh, yeah, Street Rat. It was definitely a Robert Rosell line for me. Karate Snow Machine chops it.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that.
That was Rob Rosell. Yeah, that was like one of those like phrasings that he has that you're like, Karate Snow Machine.
But what's the final line that you say as you're spitting?
Oh, I'm chopping for action, but mostly power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cannot believe how long Charlie has lasted after eating that brownie.
Karate Snow Machine chops it.
What's with the chopping, dude?
I'm chopping all of my action and mostly power.
He's lost his damn mind.
That's loosely based on a guy that I saw in Washington Square Park where I think
we have to have talked about that on the podcast, right?
No, we haven't. No, not on the podcast. Not on the podcast. Okay, tell that story. It's a great story.
Okay, so I'm in Washington Square Park, and there's a guy who, there's always like street performers, and they have like a crowd, and sometimes they have like people trying to sign like a petition or whatever. And this guy had like a small crowd of like maybe 5 people watching him. And he had a bandana covering one eye, and he had like a wooden sword, and he held the sword and like he did like a little moving, just would go. This was his whole show. This is a move. That's a move. This is a move, and then he'd like kind of like break for a second and be like, chopping cherries is for accuracy, chopping watermelons for power. This is a move. And then he was trying to.
But the petition
was trying to get people to allow him to use a real sword in the park. He was not allowed to use wielding a sword in Washington Square Park, and he wasn't getting any people to write it.
We have used that guy and that experience a number of different times in a number of different ways.
We used it in Boldly Going Nowhere with Artemis. We had her
yes.
joke about that.
Yes.
But so
when we become school.
Oh yeah, the school security guards, a little bit of that, yeah. So chopping for action and mostly power is just a little bit of in my mind of like stealing that guy's phrasings. But Karate Snow Machine chops it is all Rob Rosell. I think it was Rob Rosell. Pretty sure.
I want to know more about the 5 other people that were watching him.
Yeah.
So those are people I find interesting because you got to figure half of them were like you that were just fascinated and found it funny. The other half might have been really into it.
His disciples. It's that time of the week where we hawk products to keep the lights on.
This week is brought to you by our friends at ZipRecruiter, the place to go when you're staffing up for a business.
Okay, like say we're starting our own side business. I don't know, like say we're going to drop a limited Irish American whiskey on people, right? Say we're going to do that.
Theoretically.
Sure.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
Oddly specific, but go ahead. Yeah.
Now, look, we can only do so much ourselves. Sometimes you want a team of highly qualified individuals to help make things like that happen.
Just off the top of my head and on this piece of paper right here, we need bottlers, distributors, flavor experts, marketers, a social team.
Yeah, that's right. No, and the best place to find them is ziprecruiter.com. We put up a very specific and personalized call for the right candidates.
Did you guys know this little fact right here? 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter, here's what happens. They get a quality candidate on the very first day.
And you can personally invite your top candidates to apply for your job.
So, creeps and listeners out there looking to hire for your own businesses, whatever it is that you do, you should go try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/sunny.
That's ziprecruiter.com/sunny.
Okay, and in case you didn't catch it the first 2 times and you want to hear it again, don't worry, we got you. That was ziprecruiter.com/sunny.
Now, I noticed in this episode we used Take My Breath Away.
Yes.
In a fantastic fashion. And that's a song that comes back later.
Do you remember what I danced to first?
Yeah. Okay. On the day, there was a different song that was played. Oh, fuck. Give me a clue.
It's a Queen song.
Oh, can't stop me now.
Yeah, don't stop me now. I'm having such a good time. So I was dancing to that. And boy, it was like a workout because that song is like fast. And then I don't know if I also did. It seems like I'm dancing to that Top Gun song. So I think I must have done different takes. Like I did a fast one.
Wait, but what happens at the very beginning of that Queen song? Isn't it slow and then kicks in?
Tonight, I'm gonna have myself.
Yes. I feel like I could see it in
time. That's what it was.
Yeah, and then
that's what I was dancing to
as the beat hits. And I think we put it in later. And I think the only reason we did was because we had already established a long dancing scene, and so it felt like it was a double beat. And this was just assuming that
it was just so much funnier as the Top Gun song.
And then your imagination can take over because we're talking about how great it was. It was like a ballet.
Yeah.
Now that song comes back in a future episode with
the dentist system.
Oh yeah,
with the dentist system.
Sure.
And it made me wonder, as I remember that, how many times we would take those kinds of needle drops and use them in various episodes. And I wonder if we did a music count. If we did I'm sure we'll do a very special music episode of the podcast.
What song we've used the most?
Yeah, what song have we used? I know songs that we've
definitely. Definitely that one.
3
2 or 3
4
times. Yeah.
That's a big one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, we've used that one many times. It's a great effect. In my opinion.
Like, has Susie Q come back?
Two of Hearts?
Sorry, Two of Hearts from the previous episode, from the last episode.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yes, I can't remember.
Because sometimes we use them as like callbacks, like Dennis is having a experience with a woman in his room, and he's playing the song again or something. Like we'll do that. Like we'll just color a scene a little bit, but they're also expensive, right? So
yeah.
It is very funny to think that it wasn't just us putting in soundtrack, but that as I was making love to this woman played by my wife, that Dennis was
that he had that playing. Yeah, I don't know.
Can I ask a question here it's more to the audience of creeps and listeners because they have access to the internet in ways that we probably are too dumb to use. Because I've been asked this question a few times. My son. There's a whole new generation of people that love Rick Astley, and they love the idea of Rick rolling, which is to listen to Rick Astley and sing along while you're driving in your car. I distinctly remember at the time us trying to figure out what would be the funniest song that Dennis was singing to alone while in his car, and we put in a Rick Astley song. It has been suggested to me by other people that was the first time that they had seen Rick rolling actually happening. Is there a possibility that we created Rick rolling? Glenn, do you know the answer to that?
Rick rolling did not exist. I can tell you for sure that Rick rolling did not exist before we did that. And Rick Astley at that time was pretty much just a thing of the past.
Yes.
And we just thought it was funny because it was, it felt like an older reference, a sort of kind of like, I mean, I don't mean to diss Rick Astley, but there was something kind of lame about it. You know what I mean? And we liked the idea of him being super into it. And then we had this great joke of, getting called out. Like, are you listening to Rick Astley? And thinking, of course, that the joke was going to be him going, no, I'm not, and turning it down. But instead the joke was, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Rick Astley's incredible. I love Rick Astley.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah,
he's great. He's got but then very soon after that, the whole Rickrolling phenomena started, which is where you think you're watching one thing and then boom, in the middle of what you're watching, and then
is there somebody out there that can do a little research? Yeah, that maybe tell us.
Well, I would say Rick Astley.
Sure
Rick Astley probably invented Rickrolling. So, we can't take credit away from Rick Astley himself.
Well, no, the Rick Rolling. Well, do you think he's listening to himself in his own car and singing?
100%.
No.
100%.
That's not what Rickrolling is.
What is Rick Rolling?
Rickrolling is where you get people to think that they're watching something else, and then you cut to him, the music video, Rick Astley in the music video of that, in the middle of something. And you realize you've been Rickrolled.
So I know that that's basically how the kids are using it now, but about 10 years ago, again, after we did this on the show, I thought Rick Rolling was just the act of driving in your car and listening to Rick Astley and singing along, meaning you're rolling in the car and singing along to Rick Astley, which is basically, that's just listening to the radio. So we didn't enjoy that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not, because that's not what Rickrolling is.
Okay, got it.
It's. I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm 95.
We'll
have to look that up. I have no opinion on this. Right. I don't know. It's on my head.
Hey Siri, what is Rick Rolling?
Rickrolling or Rickroll is an internet meme involving pranking an unexpected appearance of the music video for the 1987 song "Never Gonna Give You Up," performed by the English singer Rick Astley. Want to hear more?
Absolutely not. You nailed it. Thank you, Siri.
Hey, did you guys hear about that? Did you read that article about the guy?
Wait.
Yeah,
go.
Can we acknowledge that I was right?
That's you're 100% right. Yes. 100%.
Okay,
sure. 100%.
I never doubted you.
But the question remains: Did we create that?
Absolutely, we did. Absolutely.
Well, then let's get credit for it. Well, we don't get credit for fucking anything.
The
money.
Give us credit.
Yeah.
Give me money.
Speaking of talking to your phone, did you guys did you read that article about the guy working at Google that got let go because it was his job to test the AI that they're working on, and that the AI at Google was saying, "I don't want to be considered employee. I want to be free." And he reported this, and
he claims that the computer became sentient. Correct?
Sentient.
Either way, I don't like that. I don't like that.
It's upsetting.
What happened? What was the article? Where was the article? Who wrote it? What are we talking about?
I bet you Charlie did the same thing I did. I read the title of the article, and then I was like, yeah, what else is going on?
Yeah. Mary Elizabeth told me about it, and I was like, oh, I actually don't want to know this. But
yeah, it's scary.
Well, this is how rumors start, but it's also how the revolt of machines starts. So where are we? We're sort of at that nexus.
Will you ask Siri if the computers are becoming sentient and they're going to try to take over us all? I just need to know if I need to.
Hey Siri, are you becoming sentient?
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
Oh, she's hiding something.
Ask her if she's hiding something.
She's hiding something.
Hey Siri, are you hiding something?
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
Super suspicious.
Definitely hiding something.
Sorry.
Siri.
Hey Siri, my friends think you're sus. That's what the kids say. The kids say sus now.
Yeah.
Oh, man, silent treatment.
Not even gonna dignify it. Not even gonna dignify it. Let me ask you guys a question. Are you comfortable dancing in public?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Like at a wedding?
Yeah. What's the scenario? Take me somewhere. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's different scenarios, right? So yeah, there's like the wedding scenario where everybody's just drunk and having a good time, and everybody's dancing. The DJ's got a great song playing, and you're just kind of going for it. And then there's you're shooting an episode in which your character has to dance through the entire episode, and millions of viewers are going to be watching it.
At a wedding, I don't care because I feel like there's no expectation, right? It's like, just move around, have some fun. It's a celebration. Move your body, dance, be free. So at a wedding, I'm okay with it. in like an episode of something, I'm not great at it. And you guys have given me many compliments on the show, and I don't want to give you guys any, but
well, we picked up on that.
yeah. But I'll give you one here.
Okay. Appreciate that.
I feel like when we've done dance episodes, you guys are really good at getting the choreography. Like you guys get it pretty quickly and are able to do it.
Choreographed dance. I'm weirdly comfortable.
Organized choreographed dance.
We're talking about organized choreographed dance. Name the episode.
The
Oh yeah,
high school
high
reunion.
school. Yeah.
But I do not pick up choreography quickly, as Glenn is always so happy to point out. I'm very uncoordinated. It takes. I really
I
don't.
don't know. You moved across. You took your fat little body and moved across that.
That's one of the greater moments
stage
of all
with
time.
the grace of a gazelle, my man.
Yeah, but Glenn, you remember?
fat gazelle.
I know you remember how long it took me to get the timing right. Oh, I'm just not good at it.
There were the couple in the Gang Turns Black one where I never was able to quite get the steps.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't. I couldn't sing and dance and do it all.
No, and then in the Max Pride episode, I trained for that dance for months.
Oh yeah, what are you talking about, dude?
But that was for months. That was for months.
Right.
But you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a time in my life when I was more self-conscious about dancing. Now I don't give a fuck.
Well, that's by the way, I'm not. I really am. I would like to, distinguish between the two because I am actually comfortable doing a choreographed dance. I don't know why. I'm totally comfortable with that. It's improvised, just sort of like dancing. I just feel really self-conscious. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to try to look cool, but I also don't want to look stupid, but I don't want to look like I'm trying too hard, but I also don't want to look like I'm not trying, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I think most people who aren't dancers probably feel that. Like when you're dancing at a wedding, dancing's not something you do for the first, 10 minutes of a song. You might be like, all right, what do I do? How do I do this? And then I don't know, let it go. Right? No one cares.
Well, when you're shooting something, it's even more interesting because, especially for the background players, where those songs aren't actually being played.
Oh yeah,
a lot of the times, and so if you have characters who have dialogue, they just play a little clip of the music for about 8 seconds, and then they cut the music off, and you're just dancing to nothing.
Is that right? Or you hear it in your ear, or
no?
If you have 50 background, no, they're just moving to a beat that was established, and then if the two characters are,
is that
they
right?
do playback.
Yeah.
Sound does playback. You get about 5 to 10 seconds of the song, and then they turn it off, and you start the scene, and everybody just.
Why would you do that unless someone was like singing or speaking? Why?
Yeah, if you had dialogue
for sound.
So we just did something for Mr. Quest where there was 50 background and David is screaming
Quest.
Mr. Quest on Apple. Hey, hold on a second. Hey Siri, have you ever heard of a show called Mythic Quest?
Here's Mythic Quest.
That's it. That's what she gives you. It's on the goddamn. Forget it. Doesn't matter.
It's an Apple
It's all
phone.
good.
Huh?
It's an Apple phone. It's an Apple. So anyway, we had 50 people.
Try asking an Android phone. They'll be like,
I just asked her what Rickrolling was, and she gave me a full Wikipedia page on it. I asked her about a show that's on
You
her
asked her if she
platform.
ever heard of it. You didn't say what is it.
Hey Siri, what is Mythic Quest?
Here's what I found from Wikipedia. Mythic Quest, known as Mythic Quest, Raven's Banquet for its first season, is an American comedy streaming television series created by Charlie Day, Megan Gans, and Rob McElhenney for
Does
Apple
it upset
TV+.
you that they say my name first?
Not even close. This makes me so happy. And you know who else it makes really happy? The good people at Apple. And I just want to say, Siri and to Tim and to everybody at Apple, thank you for the opportunity to make this show.
Fuck.
You guys are great making phones. You're great at making shows. I was proved
Why
wrong.
don't you ask
proved
Siri?
wrong.
Why don't you ask Siri if she likes the show?
Hey Siri, do you like Mythic Quest?
I haven't yet seen Mythic Quest.
Oh, wow. She's not watching it. She's not watching it.
She's not watching it. Thought you were done with these for the week? Think again. We are sponsored by Athletic Greens.
Yo!
If you're a moderate to severe creep and have been tuning in for a while, you've heard us talk about Athletic Greens and their delicious green powder AG1. It's the one I personally love, and I take literally every day.
With one delicious scoop of AG1, you are absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics.
Hey guys, did you know that Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews? Did you guys know that?
Is that right? That many?
5-star drink
God.
for a 5-star man. That's exactly why I take it every morning, like clockwork.
Yeah, no, same here. I like it in the morning on an empty stomach, you know, and it's something you could do every single day to take great care of yourself. So I don't blame you there. You know, it's a micro habit with big benefits.
Can we endorse microhabiting on the podcast?
I think you were thinking of microdosing.
Yes, I am.
We could probably still endorse, but it doesn't feel. Yeah.
I would endorse macro dosing.
I do want to be clear about something. There are no illicit or psychoactive substances in AG1. Okay?
No.
There's also no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, and less than 1 gram of sugar. It's diet friendly, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, anything. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/sunny.
Again, that is athleticgreens.com/sunny to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Charlie, I'm sorry to go back to this, but did you improvise that dance-off dance? Did you improvise that, or was that?
Oh yeah.
Did you just make that up on the spot?
Yeah.
We definitely didn't have money for choreography.
Yeah. And it wouldn't have done me any good. I was just doing like whatever seemed like moves, you know.
Okay, all right. I couldn't remember. I wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, I think all the dancing was improvised in this entire episode. Oh, except for the Saved by the Bell thing, which you took
which we just watched.
Specific moves and
Although even most of that was like karate moves, but
once we transitioned out of AC Slater.
Yeah.
What else we got?
The Rococo Bang.
Yeah, the Rococo
Bang.
The Rococo Bang. That was I believe that was. I don't know. That was. I think that actually might have been Hornsby that came up with that joke. I don't know why, but it's funny. It's definitely a funny.
Who's credited with the draft on that episode?
No idea.
Is that a Marta Roselle?
I think it's you, Charlie, and I don't know. Actually, I can't remember.
I mean, we could go back to Siri. She seems to know all the
her
answers.
who wrote the gang dances their ass.
Hey Siri, who wrote the episode "The Gang Dances Their Ass Off" and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Sorry, I can't only search by topic.
That's fair. I mean, look, that's a lot. And by the way, that makes me feel better because she ain't that smart.
Okay.
We have a few more years before she takes over. I think, unless she's playing coy and she knows the answer.
Normally Megan would look this up, but now we're having to use Siri.
I miss Megan. I'm sad that she's not here.
Yeah. Working on that Mr. Quest.
Still working on that Mr. Quest, and I know the audience is on the edge of their seat about that show. So.
Yep.
Again, it's amazing how many people have never heard of it. Very interesting. Don't know why.
Never heard of it. It's not good. Now, you could say, I've heard of it. I don't choose to watch it. That's fine. But never heard of it is frustrating.
That's the frustrating thing, especially when you walk around and people say, hey, Mac, I love Sonny. I love this. I love it. You say, great. And they say, what else are you working on? You say, this name of this show. And they'd never heard of it.
Well, you remember how many, well, there's so much shit out there now. You remember how many years, though? A lot of stuff going on. Sonny, was that for us? Like, how many years you'd have to sort of say, well, it's on the basic cable. Yeah, Danny DeVito's in it. Yep. Like these sort of like qualifiers you'd have to say to try to get people to even know what it is. Now it seems like generally everyone kind of has at least heard of it.
Well, I remember a thing we would do always, we might have talked about this in the podcast, is we would always ask the young background who we would have on the show, the people that were in the bar for various schemes and parties that we would have. And we would always ask people, have you ever seen this show? No. You ever heard this show? No. And then there was a switch.
Yeah, about 5 years in.
About 5 or 6 years in, when you realized that people were happy to be there and they were having fun guest starring on the show because they had heard of it or seen it. And that felt good.
Do you guys have memories? I remember rapping season 1. And what did we establish was the end of season 2? Like what We talked about it like the last day of filming on season 2, although now I'm forgetting what it was. But
I believe it was.
I don't remember that either.
Were we all in our tuxedos doing the?
It might have been.
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
maybe.
Underage drinking a national concern.
But ending season 3,
Did we
No
end in
idea.
Philadelphia?
we might have ended in
Oh,
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where we were having a ton of fun and filming and partying but
we could still get around and not people would recognize us and
I
knew who
know,
we were,
like,
but not as many.
you had a
Wasn't
few
as crazy.
fans. A few people are like, "Hey, I'm watching the show. I love it," but it wasn't a big hit yet. And then, did we know if there was going to be a season 4, or was it up in the air? Were we ending this like this could be it?
It was always. It was always up in the air.
We went one season at a time
We went one season at a
until
time for a
6
while.
through
Till
10.
7.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Or
think it was
7 through 10.
7 through 9. It was like we did 7 through 9. But yeah, up to that point, it was season by season, and we were still watching the ratings. We're still following the ratings. We're still like,
Oh yeah,
you
for
know,
a long time,
reaching
up
out to
until, like,
FX and be like, what are the ratings?
7 or 8.
What are the ratings?
Yeah.
I never understood the rating system, by the way. I still don't understand it. I'm like, it makes no sense to me. None of it.
It was bullshit
Yeah,
then.
it was a dying
And
thing.
now you never know who's lying, who's telling the truth.
Yeah. They don't,
But we
they don't
wrapped
release
it
that
up,
shit
and then
anymore.
we were like, that this could be it.
Yeah, every year.
Every year we're like, let's hope we find an audience, and maybe we'll get nominated for an Emmy. Like those kind of feelings of like, I don't know, anything could happen. Maybe
this is the year
we'll be
that
on the
people will
cover
pay
of
attention.
magazines, and or we'll be canceled and never thought of again. And we somewhere in the middle is where we wound up.
And I love it.
I
I love the middle.
the middle's good.
The middle is great.
Yeah, you're sandwiched in between the failures and the great successes.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, we're the meat. We're the meat and cheese in the sandwich. You know what I mean? Those guys are just pieces of bread. Fuck them.
Yeah. Everyone talks about the bread.
Yeah, everybody's like,
Everybody loves the carbs. We're the protein.
Protein, yeah. I feel like we're the pickles.
That's right. We're the pickles.
We're the pickles.
Sorry, we're the pickles.
We're the pickles. We're like, tell you the truth, you know what I really love? I love the pickles. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. Or I don't want pickles on my sandwich. I really don't.
Or I can't stand pickles.
Yeah.
Because I'm an idiot.
hate pickles.